Honestly, I can see myself recommending this style of hearing aid a lot more often. Hey guys, Cliff Olson, Doctor of Audiology and founder of Applied Hearing Solutions in Phoenix, Arizona, and in this video, I'm talking about all the biggest reasons why people tend to avoid using behind-the-ear hearing aids and why that's starting to change. Once upon a time, the smallest and most advanced hearing aid technology that you could find was in a behind-the-ear or BTE hearing aid. In the 1950s, transistor technology had advanced to the point where it could replace vacuum tube technology. What this meant for hearing aids is that instead of having to carry your hearing aid around in a suitcase or in a body-worn device, you can now wear the entire hearing aid behind your ear. For nearly 2 decades, through the 60s and the 70s, behind-the-ear hearing aids totally dominated the hearing aid market. In terms of popularity, think of BTE hearing aids as the iPhones of today. They gave you everything: smaller size, better battery life, better durability, and they could use custom ear molds for better retention, comfort, and amplification before feedback, and BTE hearing aids tend to be perfect for children, because as children grow, they can keep the same BTE hearing aid, they just have to get their ear molds changed. Even though in-the-ear styles of hearing aids were starting to become more popular, they still couldn't do everything that a BTE hearing aid could do. But just like everything, the popularity of BTE hearing aids started to falter, and I'll explain why here in just a minute. But before I do me a huge favor and click the like button. It really helps out the channel. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel with notifications turned on, go ahead and do that as well. It's greatly appreciated. And a huge shout out to Oticon for sponsoring today's video, but more on them in a little bit. This fall in popularity of BTE hearing aids had nothing to do with the performance capabilities of these devices. But as time went on, consumer needs, expectations, and demands started to change. Significantly more individuals with mild to moderate hearing loss wanted to start treating their hearing loss with hearing aids to overcome their communication difficulties. And they did not need as powerful of a hearing aid as a lot of traditional hearing aid users who use these BTE devices. These mild to moderate hearing loss individuals also did not require the use of a custom ear mold. With advancements in feedback reduction technology, they could use open rubber domes and still be able to hit their prescriptive targets. And many hearing aid users developed this idea that they wanted their hearing aids to be as small as humanly possible. And BTE hearing aids were typically on the larger size, using these massive 675 disposable batteries. And speaking of batteries, expectations changed from using hearing aids that had disposable batteries to hearing aids that had rechargeable batteries. But perhaps the biggest limitation that ended up plaguing BTE hearing aids is that a lot of hearing aid manufacturers put their newest hearing aid technology inside of receiver and canal style hearing aids, not their BTE hearing aids. And no hearing aid user ever wants to feel like they're using older hearing aid technology. But I'm happy to say that BTE hearing aids are starting to make a comeback thanks to hearing aids like the Intent miniBTE-R from Oticon, today's video sponsor. The Oticon Intent miniBTE-R hearing aid can do pretty much everything the Oticon Intent receiver and canal hearing aid can do, and maybe more. Not only can it be used with a size 13 tube and custom ear mold, but you can also use the Corda MiniFit slim tube with a rubber dome. This allows you to use the miniBTE-R hearing aid for pretty much any level of hearing loss, from mild all the way up to profound. And your hearing care professional can select between an 85 decibel receiver performance or 105 decibel receiver performance inside of the programming software. As you can see, it is much smaller than a typical BTE hearing aid, hence the name miniBTE. As you can see, I did take it out of the rechargeable case because this hearing aid has a rechargeable lithium-ion battery, and it gives you up to 20 hours of battery life on a single 2-hour charge. But the best part is, this hearing aid uses the same exact hearing aid technology that Oticon uses inside of their Intent receiver and canal hearing aids. This means that it uses the Sirius chip with Oticon's 2nd generation deep neural network for artificial intelligence sound processing. It also uses the same 4D sensor technology. It uses the newest form of Bluetooth LE audio for wireless streaming, which also gives you access to Auracast broadcast audio. This way you can stream audio inside of a public venue like a museum, a church, a sports bar, or a Broadway show. And you can use the same Oticon Companion app to make adjustments to your volume, your program settings, and even have remote care sessions with your hearing care professional. Now you might be asking yourself, if the performance between a miniBTE hearing aid and a receiver and canal hearing aid are so similar, why would you ever want to go with one over the other? Well, one really big reason is if you have draining ears. A lot of hearing aid users have issues with moisture buildup inside of their ear canals. And if you use a receiver and canal hearing aid, that moisture can leach directly into the receiver that's inside of your ear canal, as opposed to a BTE hearing aid where that moisture has to travel a lot further to get into the electronics of your device. The same is true for earwax. If you get earwax into the ear mold portion of a BTE hearing aid, all you have to do is pick it out. You're not going to cause damage to the electronics of your device because the receiver is all the way in the back part of the hearing aid that's behind your ear. ear. A lot of BTE hearing aid users also find them easier to clean because you can just pop the tubing off like this, you can run a cleaning stave through the tube and push out any moisture or earwax that you want to, as opposed to having to change those really tiny wax traps on the tip of a receiver and canal hearing aid. And one thing that I mentioned earlier is that BTE hearing aids are some of the best hearing aids for children, because as children tend to grow, their hearing loss becomes worse. You have plenty of headroom to increase amplification with a BTE hearing aid, and as their ears grow, all you have to do is get them a new ear mold impression, get a new mold, and attach it to the same exact hearing aid. As time goes on, I expect the popularity of BTE hearing aids to increase as the performance gap between BTE and RIC hearing aids becomes virtually non-existent. But I want to hear from you. Do you think that the Oticon Intent miniBTE-R is going to start a trend back towards using BTE hearing aids, or do you think that the popularity of receiver and canal technology is going to continue to grow? Let me know what you think down in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video.